we'll get the easy part done and go from there.
Commissioner.
All right. Looks like on our agenda we have one item that is amended. We talked to our attorneys at the end of the session here, so that is the change to the agenda today.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. First item on our agenda is Commissioner's Report. And I didn't have any red flags on it myself.
I'm good. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the Commissioner's report.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have salary rate approval forms.
Any questions?
I pulled one out because Emma's coming in to talk about it later, so. Other than that, we have an employee that is willing to take a cut in pay
What?
to go to a different department.
Really?
He's
Oh, yeah.
He's moving.
Okay.
Present salary's this, and he's going to this.
Well, that's interesting.
So that's the only thing that I highlighted.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the salary rate approval forms.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Look at these guys. These guys cannot get their story straight.
Oh, got an old one. Who is that? That's the event center. Oop. Already signed that one.
First, they won't bring my axe in now.
Morning.
Hey, good morning.
All right, next we have a certificate of residency. One that is a denial,
Is that all we have, just the denial today?
and then there's one that's a regular, so.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we follow the recommendations to deny one and accept one residency approval form.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All this time. Look at that. Thank you. All right. With that being said, Adam, go ahead and come on up.
Good morning, Commissioners. Adam McKinney, 911 Communications this morning. I brought you guys a 911 committee update. We held our regular meeting on 7/26 at 16:30 here in the chamber. This is the first meeting we've convened since Bill Giberson from Chubbuck left. We replaced him with Nick Sasser. There was a motion made and we accepted, so Nick Sasser's the new chief of the police in Chubbuck. So he joined our 911 committee. I'll just give you an update on what we went over in the meeting, what we're working on. First and foremost was the IPSCC updates. We attended that meeting earlier last month. They were working on a change to the 911 resolution for the state to try and change the amount that we collect as a fee from the state. It went before the governor and the governor's attorney. The governor and the Department of Finance don't feel that they met the criteria to put it on a legislative agenda for this year. Basically, they have a list of qualifiers, and they don't feel that all avenues of money have been exhausted for the IPSCC to raise that fee yet. So the IPSCC is going to go back to the drawing board on that. Basically, they felt they didn't meet either their strategic goals, as they don't have endpoints in their strategic goals, or that they haven't exhausted all local funding. That doesn't really change the current mission of the IPSCC. It really just changes that they wanted to increase that fee that we collect. So we'll go back to that next year. And the IPSCC, of course, is the Public Safety Communications Commission. on which I'm seated. So the next was the ISRUG update. That's the radio users group. We also met in July. They completed the 2021 upgrade that we've been working on our microwave tower. That completed successfully on the 11th and 12th. Everything went fine. They were only down for about an hour in site trunking mode, which means we weren't connected to the state system, rather just locally. Everything went as planned. And to go along with that, our microwave update that we've approved, that gear has all been ordered. It's starting to arrive. It's being staged right now for testing. They should start putting that stuff in this fall, and we're now looking that second quarter of next year is going to be the finish date. We were hoping to have it finished this fall, but we're just not going to make it this year. We're not going to have enough
So
time.
did we carry that money over?
It was ARPA funding.
ARPA funding?
It's already been expensed, so it should be good.
Okay.
I talked with Christy. We should. Yeah, we should.
All right.
I did tell Christy about it. We talked about it. The gear. We've ordered this gear, and it was specific that we had to get cam beam equipment, and it actually ships from Israel, so it takes a little while to get here. Yeah, it's on the list of approved stuff we can buy in the States. So. Next, we talked about Bingham County. They're looking at getting a grant to become host and remote with us like Powell County and Caribou County are. If they get that grant funding this year, which it's looking like they probably will, we'll be looking to form a VESTA committee above and beyond the 911 committee. We'd like to form a committee that includes the sheriffs or their designees from those other counties that are host and remote with us, so that we avoid the kind of situation we have with the radio network now, where one county can sometimes drive that direction. We don't want the surrounding counties that connect to us to feel that if Bannock County makes a change to that system, that they're left out of that decision-making process. We brought this up with our 911 committee. The committee did not feel that it made sense to add people to this specific committee, because this committee determines how we spend Bannock County's 911 funding, and those other counties don't. So we'll
They
probably
suggest how we spend it.
correct, absolutely. We discuss.
determine, they
You're
suggest.
absolutely right. We discuss how we spend it. They felt that and I agree. We keep that within the county, and then we'll create another body
I
to
agree with
govern
that,
that. The next thing was Bear Lake County is just starting talks with us about becoming host and remote with us as well. That's a 3-year timeline, though. They've got to do a couple things in the interim. They've got to have a radio tower upgrade, which is underway right now. The next will be a console upgrade, which has been signed for and ordered. That's about 2 years out, and then final will be that they would go host and remote with us. We're looking about 3 years out on that. Next thing would be that we signed the memorandum of understanding with the American Falls City for the flex stuff. They are going full bore. We're still not sure about Powell County. I'm meeting with Motorola today, says they have a little more news about that, but I don't know exactly. We're going to move forward with American Falls regardless of if Powell County comes on or not.
And I told that to Commissioner Anderson the other day. I ate lunch with him, and he was curious what was going on and where it was at. And I said, well, American Falls is moving forward.
Yeah, and we have the capacity to support them either way. So if Powell County wants to come on, we'll do it, and if they can't, well, that's okay, we'll wait. Next thing on the list is that we did, our team in computer services, we took over tower maintenance updates from Jeff's department. Jeff was doing them for us. Daniel's department doesn't have the manpower to do them, and asked if we wanted to contract it out. It's a fairly straightforward process. We just go change the mouse traps and the filters on the air conditioning, sweep up the bugs, yellow jacket traps, check the stuff, make sure the roof's not leaking, stuff like that. So we took that over. We went out, Dorian and I went out and did 3 of the 4 tower sites. 2 of the tower sites are done for us. We have 1 more. That's the one on Sedgwick. Takes a very long time to get there. We've asked Kyle to get a side-by-side. We're going to go up there next week and do that one too. But we're going to start doing those quarterly so that they're a little bit more up to date. And in process with that, and we've talked about this in the budgeting for next year, we budgeted for the fencing to be replaced around Chinese Peak. That fencing looks like a giant just kind of crumpled it up. It's in pretty bad shape. So we were up there, we were looking at it. We would like to, if possible, when we have some year-end funds, maybe look at doing it this year, but if not, we'll definitely be doing it next year, put that in next year's budget. And then the last thing on my list is, also with this year's funding, we're at 4.5 years on the PCs in the dispatch centers. I'm looking to replace them. We've already started to replace them. We bought spares for them last season, so they have some new equipment. I've been talking with the city of Pocatello, who feels that they're not quite ready for replacements, so we're looking at doing the sheriff's office in Chubbuck first, and if the city of Pocatello would like to do theirs, we'll do theirs, and if not, they'd like to do them next season, we could do them next season. I had put both of those in the budget. So our next regular meeting is the 27th of September, 16:30 6:30 here in the chamber if you guys would like to join. And if you have any questions, happy to answer them for you.
No, much appreciated. I think that since he formed this committee, that we've moved forward a whole lot better. Communication is so much better.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And as we've talked about many times before, Bannock County and the cities are in a unique position because a lot of counties do not coordinate with the cities. A lot of cities do their own thing, and the counties do a thing, and we're really collaborative and work together with them. So, okay.
Did you say you're going to replace the fence at the one?
Yes.
And do you know how much that costs?
I have Butte's Fencing is doing an estimate for me. They are actually, the guy who did the estimate, he's already been up there and taken the measurements, and he has an estimate. He's deep sea fishing this week, and he didn't get it to me in time. But I will bring it back to you guys and know. What's crazy about that up there is, so the fence is a rectangle. About a third of the fence that's up there is still in fantastic shape, and that was put in when the buildings were built by Butte's Fencing, and that fencing is in good shape. The other 2/3 of the fence that goes down one side and around the back was put in 5 to 7 years ago by another fencing company who used basically homeowner level stuff, not commercial level stuff. That fencing, due to the shear and the wind load and the ice, it literally just ices over, it crumples down, and I've got pictures. I'll email you pictures of it. I'm not kidding when I say it looks like somebody just took a giant hand and went like this and crumpled it all up. And talking with Butte's, they said, yeah, that's not commercial grade fencing, and that's why the 1/3 of the fence that is commercial grade fencing is still up. So I'd like to finish that, go all the way around. I understand Sedgwick is in the same boat with some of the fencing. We're going to go up and look at that again.
Sounds good.
Yep. Anything else?
Where is Sedgwick?
Sedgwick is between us and Caribou County.
Lava?
You go to Lava, and then it's another 7-8 miles south of Lava, out of Lava. And it's like a 3-hour one-way trip to get there and back. So it's a ways down there. I mean, you get to the bottom at the Lava Canyon.
We're going to have a couple Blackhawks.
We've taken that. I was going to say, we took the Life Flight helicopter up there in the wintertime. So, yeah, it takes a while to get there. It's only I want to say it's only about a 3-mile trip from the bottom to the top, but it literally takes almost 2 hours to make that 3-hour trip. So, it takes a while. So, but we're going to start doing that tower maintenance, and that saves us some money. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, Scott. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Oh, loving life.
Scott Crowther, Business Manager, Event Director.
Cheney Coulter, Event Manager.
Sorry, I totally stepped on Cheney's toes. My bad. We have a couple of things to discuss with you guys today. First, we'll start with the Idaho National Guard. I believe we do have one. Please introduce yourself.
I'm First Sergeant Calvin Bonzon of the Idaho Army National Guard, HHB First Sergeant of the unit here in Pocatello.
Thank you.
So in the past, we have used one of our gravel parking lots to accommodate this request from the National Guard to come in and land some Black Hawk helicopters and move people. You want to just explain?
Yeah, so this event that's, can I see it real quick? I didn't print out anything. Is on the 14th of September. It's the ESGR Employer Support Group event for Eastern Idaho this year. And what we do is the traditional soldiers nominate their employer. The employer comes to this event. They spend all day looking at equipment, experiencing equipment, seeing some of the stuff that we do, so they understand that what that M-Day soldier does when they go to drill weekend. It's an event. I know that the ESGR is supposed to be reaching out to, we don't have a ton of employers in Pocatello, so I know they're going to reach out to the county and some other entities, businesses in Pocatello and Chubbuck to invite them, because I don't think we're going to fill up the 60 seats that we're allocating for meals and for the helicopter. But what we're doing with the helicopters, we're going to land them in the parking lot. They'll pick up, they can pick up 11 passengers per helicopter, so that's 22 per turn. they'll take them, they'll usually fly them up and around either this mountain range or the South Mountain Range, and then land, and then do that. They're going to do that 4 to 6 times depending on how many employers we get. So, and that's it'll last probably 2 to 3 hours. And then the only thing that we're asked that the county does, or that the event center does, is just block off the entrances on either side. It's always a good PR thing. We don't mind the foot traffic in and around the path. It's always good for us, for people to come and see and watch and witness. And there'll be people on the ground to kind of help make sure that people don't get too close when they're landing and taking off. But they will go static for a while so people can kind of mill around and look at them.
Yeah, no problem shutting them off.
No, we don't, I mean, probably have gates, we can just close everything down. So, thank you.
No, we'd love to come look at that. That's on Saturday, right?
14th of September, I believe it's,
Or Wednesday, Thursday. Can't remember. I looked at it.
it is Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, it'll be an all-day event. We'll have some other static displays around the armory that people are more than welcome to come and look at, some of our equipment, and some subject matter experts to talk about it.
Good, good. Any problems?
Nope.
Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agreement.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Appreciate it, thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Our next one is Randy's tumbling.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll share. He's over there and I'm over here. How are you guys?
Good.
So I'm Doreen Bybee. I'm Randy's wife. And down there,
Bradley Dean Bybee, obviously the son of Randy and Doreen, manager at Randy's.
So they are looking to have a Harvest Lantern Festival on September 30th. They're doing it for a fundraiser, and we'll go ahead and let you kind of describe a little more what you wanted to.
what we're doing. Okay, so what we want to do is it's a lantern festival, but it's like floating lanterns. So the lanterns will not have, so we're not going to put candles with fire. They'll be just electric lanterns, so we don't have to worry about fire hazards going there. And what we're doing is
Check that box.
yeah, I know. I was like, okay, no fire. Anyway, so what we want to do, we want to just do this Harvest Festival for the community as well, family, friends, community. What we'll do is we'll have food trucks, we'll have some vendors there, some crafts, we'll have some activities, some blow-up houses, some that kind of things. And it will start at 4 o'clock, end about 9 o'clock, sunsets at 7:15. It'll be a full moon. What we want to do is, it will be a fundraiser for Randy's. Randy's is kind of no longer able to meet the needs of the community because we need to grow and expand. Our classes, which is good on our end, our classes, our parties, everything is so full up that we're constantly turning people away. So the fundraiser is kind of a kickoff to build a new Randy's, to expand there. What we'll do is people will just buy packets, different packets. They'll get a kit, they'll get blankets, they'll get an activity, stuff like that in their kit. The sun sets at 7:15, so we'll go down to the water, light the lanterns, fill the water with lighted lanterns. Takes usually about an hour. It'll be done at 9. We will clean up the mess. We will then get our rafts, go out in the water, collect all the lanterns back up so that there's no mess or anything for you guys. We're thinking we'd like to rent I think it's called the Champion Soccer Field. Is that what it is? And yeah, and Pavilion 2. We will have some live music, a DJ.
Okay. And my
Questions?
only question is, we have responsibilities with the food trucks.
Yes.
Make sure that they
Right,
follow all rules and regulations.
right.
Any concerns?
Do you guys have a list of like, is there a certain list of those food
We-
trucks that
we'll
you
get
guys
that
have?
to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we have all the food trucks ready to go, and we've talked about them cleaning up. The only thing that we would be providing is our usual cleanup every day, just switching out the trash cans.
And then I see that you had sponsorship from ICC.
Yes, yes.
And this is full price on the pavilion and the field.
We don't have a lake rental. All right, and you guys are aware of that. My only thing is it really can't interfere with what other people are doing on the lake. So as they're floating lanterns, we're not going to restrict people from fishing or doing any of those other things that typically people do. I mean, granted, after dark, I really don't love people up there swimming at night. So so it might be something that hopefully we'll restrict, or we'll at least be around to limit some of that stuff. But it just can't restrict movement around throughout the rest of the complex.
Yeah.
So you guys are supportive of this event?
Yeah,
I'm supportive.
Because you want to have a lantern floating around?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've been approached a few times about lanterns on the lake, and I personally struggle with just the logistics of all of it. I really like the idea of the electric lantern. If this was like a candle lantern, I could support that kind of thing, especially in our community. But
How come?
I worry about the fire danger, right? Like they float up, they float up and they kind of drift away. We have a lot of wind and a lot of interesting.
So ours are
Won't it
just, ours
Won't the
will,
water just put it out when it sinks?
Well, these ones are a little bit different. Like these are the electric ones.
These are floating instead
And-
of.
Yes.
yeah, these are
They're
not,
floating.
yeah, they're not going up, they will just
Yeah, there's all
float.
things floating on the lake, right? I
Yeah.
kind of like the idea of having
Yeah.
the candles in them and seeing what happens, but I will defer to you.
No. So if you get those paper lanterns, even with the candle, the heat that it creates will actually float them off the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so,
I learned.
and they're really cool. They're beautiful. The festivals, they have the lantern festival where they just kind of float up into the sky. I just worry about lighting people's fields on fire.
That's
my
a
only-
December.
That's my only concern with it. So
So,
this is a good
Yeah.
example for us. I think it'll be a good PR thing. We can take some pictures of it. I think it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, no, this sounds very interesting. I look forward
Yeah.
to seeing that.
Just guaranteeing the cleanup.
we will clean it up, we have,
That's the
we
key.
have lots of people, rafts, paddle boards, will go out there, clean up all this stuff, yeah.
I'm willing to
That'll
give
be
people a
nothing.
chance the first time. So,
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the event.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, I'll say, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
We hope to see you guys there.
We'll have a plan for you.
Shanda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shanda Crystal, Chief Procurement Officer. I have a procurement update for the board today. I would like to start with the concealed weapons detection courthouse upgrade. We have issued an addendum and to answers to questions we received last week, and that bid closes next Wednesday. We do currently have 2 companies that have said that they intended to bid, but we are hoping to gather up a couple more for that. But it'll be due next week.
That's next Thursday we open them.
Open them, yes. Yep, they're due next
Jeff
Wednesday.
won't be here,
Okay,
so just thinking about how that's gonna happen and
okay,
open and stuff, just something to think about.
okay. I will propose something and I'll touch base with you guys as far as how we want to move forward. We can put it on the big screen or I can print them out and have them before the board to do it that way.
Can you put this thing on my computer just like it's on his computer, or is that not allowed, or?
Let me double check. We've bought so many licenses and so then we gave 1 license to the board. So let me just triple check that, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to pay any extra, but
right.
I'd be interested to see how this works.
Yeah, I am fairly certain I can give like observation or something like that, so then you can look and see all of the bids.
Right.
And I don't think that costs me any more. But let me triple check and I'll get with you
Okay.
and we'll get it on your computer. But thank you, Chairman, for pointing that out. Perfect. The next bid is the janitorial contract. We also issued an addendum on that one last week. Again, answers to responses to questions we had received. And that also is closed next Wednesday too. So we'll have both of those opening on Thursday,
And when does our current contract end?
September 30th.
September?
Mhm,
And
yep,
that's
it
on
goes
this
to-
new one it would begin?
Yes, yep. And the difference is, right, that was, we were trying it out this year, and we are I cannot pick my words today. The intention behind the new contract is to go for 3 years. We had discussions with the current contractor that they could have given us a lower bid number if they knew, right, that they had work for their people for the next 3 years. So we're going to try that out and see how that one goes this time. The next one is for Road and Bridge for super pave asphalt. That one we were able to piggyback off of City of Pocatello contract that they had with Mickelson Construction. Mickelson Construction allowed us, along with Idaho Code, to look and review the solicitation that went out by the city. It met all of our requirements, and we were able to piggyback off that contract, and that has been approved through legal. There's no additional contract or anything with Mickelson, and so then you'll just start seeing invoices come through that it's been budgeted and approved like other years.
Okay.
The next one is the landfill scale house remodel. The evaluations have been complete, and I began negotiations with the firm that received the most points on that. So we're hoping in the next couple of weeks to have a contract to come before the board if those negotiations are successful. And in regards to the district court drug testing services, we are still fine-tuning that contract. We want to make sure that it meets everybody's needs as it goes back and forth between the entity and ourselves and our legal team. We do anticipate that one, though, coinciding with the beginning of our fiscal year, and we'll have it start October 1st. In regards to that project, the board had asked that I reach out to district court and ask them for an update on the most likely getting rid of the Lander building. And I have had those conversations. They are looking at 3 different options. Obviously, if the provider provides the site, that's something we built into the bid, and so we have those numbers of what it might cost to do that. They're also looking to rent a non-county owned facility, and they'll have a couple options for the board to look and review as far as that goes, as well as they're going to reach out to Dan and look for space inside the county to see if there are other locations within county-owned facilities that they could do those to propose before the board to have that discussion.
Okay.
Is there a time frame? I know with Carrie leaving and Jason filling in the interim, I just didn't know if there was a deadline that I should say, please propose this by the end of August, or
How much has Carrie been involved with it, I guess?
so I've only heard like general discussions. I've not seen anything put to paper, but when he stopped in my office, there was specific, he had a realtor that was looking out for locations, and then they were setting up a meeting with Dan. So they have some of the information they need, but not everything. But that was the update that I got from Carrie last.
Okay. I don't know the rush on it. Honestly, we'll have Lander until we make decisions on it, so that's where I'm at.
Okay, so I'll just keep touching base and just making sure it's a project that they're still, gathering up information still that's on their plate, right, to bring before the board just as quickly as they're ready and have that information for you to review.
Yeah.
If there is a specific location or anything, an option that you gentlemen would like them to review, if you'll reach out to Jason or myself, I'd be happy to pass that information along and have them look at.
Okay. Yeah. We haven't made final decisions on Lander, so I don't know how pressing it is right now.
Okay. They did share some concerns over the time frame that potentially either a rental space or an in-county space might take to renovate. And so I was just going to pass that along, just that they would ask for the time frame to renovate that space before. But I said, right, as long as they're in conversations with, right, and keep the board updated, that should be able to be accommodated.
Are they using the Lander now?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And just as a general update, in reaching out to different agencies, as we've discussed before, I had a meeting with the City of Pocatello yesterday, and it went really well. I understand better how kind of they set up their procurement, which one runs through which agencies. And so I have some more contact information over there. Had some information of how they run their processes, different projects that they have going on, and just strengthening that relationship. It went really well, and it was well received. And so I'm excited to add them to our network of individuals that.
Don't they just go to the highest bidder?
No, they don't. No, they have a fantastic process, and a fantastic group of individuals, and I'm excited to work with them. So
Sometimes I need to be quiet.
but if there was any other questions or anything that you have on projects, or
When is this, remember we were this thing we were talking about this morning, when is that scheduled?
November.
So you got some time on that.
Correct. Commissioner Crowder is referring to a potential opportunity. So IPPA runs a reverse vendor trade show over in Boise. So what that does, so instead of the vendors having the tables and the county going around and seeing, what different companies offer, it's the opposite. So Bannock County would have a table, right? Ada County would have a table. The city of Pocatello, right, could have a table. And then the vendors come around and say, great, how do I do business with you? What projects do you have upcoming? There's no fee for us to attend that, except the fuel to get over there and a hotel room to stay. But other than that, I was talking with Commissioner Crowder about the potential of gathering up additional vendors, right, of how they do business with us, that we are located. These are some of the projects that are discussed. Now that we have a proposed budget, I can say that these are items that we might be looking for, in the future. So I thought it might be a low-risk opportunity to gather up some additional vendors and see what it might bring forth. But it is in November, so we do have a little bit. But I thought it could be a good opportunity to at least test out and see what they might have.
Okay,
All right, great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Emma?
Good morning, Commissioners. Emma Iannacone, Public Information Officer. I am here to request a temporary hire of my social media intern, Shuvo. I submitted a memo as well as a almost completed SRA form for you to review. My intern started with us just a couple of weeks ago, and he's proven himself to be a very quick worker and fast learner. But we have a couple of projects that we wanted to get ahead on before the semester starts, specifically with the website and making the website more mobile friendly and cleaner, cleaning it up a little bit, which is quite a time consuming task. So it's something that I haven't been able to put a lot of my effort towards. And he has a very good knowledge of websites. His personal website is really beautiful, and he has a couple of friends that have even more knowledge than him that he was going to ask for their advice on. But anyways, we have a line item that we committed $5,000 to extra help, specifically for interns who can commit extra hours beyond their career path internship allotment through ISU. So I am requesting to temporarily hire Shuvo for 20 hours a week maximum until at least August 18th, which is the Friday before the school semester starts. So it's only about 2 weeks.
It's here.
Yeah, just a super short amount of time. But after August 18th, I'd like to reevaluate his time commitment once he has gotten into the swing of the semester and understands how much time that's going to take and how much time he can realistically commit. And I can return, if we want to move forward in this direction, I can return and re-request this, or just give you an update on how many hours he'll be working, if you would like that. The pay rate, we wanted to, and I've discussed this with our comptroller, our chief of staff, as well as our HR director. And the pay rate that we want to stick with is $15 an hour, which is consistent with what he's paid through the CPI program as a graduate student, which would cost, if he completes the maximum 20 hours of work we allot, would cost $300 for the week. And in speaking with our comptroller, we've determined that the identified funds in that extra help line item will cover the estimated cost of the temporary hire.
This is this year's budget. And you have the money.
FY23.
Yes, sir.
And this would be 2 weeks, so it'd be like $600?
I see you two talking.
Well, I think that sounds great. The only thing I would bring up is if we're gonna look at hiring an employee, that's what I was asking Ryan about. Normally we post it and have an interview process. If he wants to do this, have you thought about just having a contract with the county instead of having him as an employee? Like an independent contractor to do anything above what he's already doing in his internship?
It hadn't been brought up when I was discussing with the three.
That was not brought up, or?
No, when I was speaking
Okay.
with Christy, Braden and Ryan,
And,
we hadn't talked about that option.
and I almost would prefer an employee just because of past precedent and that the work that he's doing is done by employees, that we've had in the past. So I would feel more comfortable with employee than contractor.
Well, I mean, I hire, in my private businesses, I hire contractors all the time. It's a lot cleaner and easier to have contractors than having a bunch of employees. It's a lot less costly as well.
And I have two questions. One, if we hire him as an employee, then he's eligible for unemployment.
Yeah.
That's a concern because, I mean, putting somebody on for 2 weeks and then they're eligible for unemployment just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it's like somebody coming down to the fair and then filing for unemployment to me. No, that's not a long enough time
Sure.
to make a commitment with the county. And then the other one was the same thing that we did with like Jamie and stuff like that down at the fair. Are we gonna be paying like if he's 20 hours, but is he also, how much time with ISU?
19.
19.
So he's 39 hours with the county?
And we would only be paying for the 20.
Those 19 hours with ISU won't count towards that.
Okay,
Because
that's,
he's technically an ISU employee for his internship.
okay.
And his paycheck comes through there, and the policy, everything comes through ISU.
I just didn't want it to
Yeah, so we're not gonna.
push
run-
over and make us,
We're not gonna run.
the
into
employer
that.
and-
My concern, and maybe.
The competitive recruitment is the second part.
Yeah, well, and the contractor piece, don't you think that when you're determining if eligibility for independent contractor for tax purposes and all that, they can't be replacing employees? And if we have,
they're not replacing an employee though.
I know, but.
If he, I mean, that's what I
it's
just
the work that An
asked.
employee normally would do.
Well, from what I understood, it was just to work on the, like, website content, right?
Website content and some social media
And
stuff.
social media, stuff that you're unable to get to right now because of your schedule.
And you're not
So you're
really
not concerned
directing the
about
work either, right? You're just telling them, hey,
Well, I'm
this is
just
what we
saying
need
if you
done,
guys-
go take care of
Help with the
it, so.
website.
Yeah,
or
and he
contractor for
asks
that
me
part.
with like
Okay.
questions and stuff, and I'll help him if, he gets stuck on some things.
This,
Okay,
to me,
well-
this sounds like contractor work.
Well, we had a contractor do the website last time,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
I mean, Rory took care of the
Now-
website and stuff last time. It wasn't an employee that did
Would he
it.
need to give us a W-9 and have a business?
When you 1099
Will
them?
that have
No,
any issue with
just
his immigration
1099.
status?
1099?
And
Yeah,
then-
this is a lot cleaner, I think, to do it the way you suggested.
Yeah, I guess the only thing too is, like I said, is the competitive recruitment, right? Instead, like opening a position as an employee and just offering it to one person instead of
Yeah.
putting it out and posting it with the normal process, then we've cleared that hurdle if someone ever.
And just
Complaint.
out of curiosity, Ryan, is there any issue with his visa, with hiring him as a contractor?
Ooh. He's not a US citizen. So I don't know the rules on contractors and that, if it matters.
He's on a visa for school.
But he has a visa.
Yes, he has a visa, he's eligible to work in the US.
Yeah.
I went through that process with him, the employee side. And we got all that taken care of.
We got him working here already, so it should
No, I
better
don't
be
see it.
legal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a visa, he has a work visa, and he's eligible to
Yeah,
work here, then I don't.
He's got a student visa with a provision that allows him to work. Yeah.
Okay, great. I just wanted to double check on that.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm just throwing out that
No,
might be the cleaner way to.
yeah, no, I,
Let's look into this.
Yeah,
Let's look into, I
it
mean,
could, you're probably right. Yeah. Just hadn't considered that.
if you outline the work and we could make a motion not to spend over $600 at this time without coming back to us.
Yeah,
And-
we can get the terms drafted in a contract for the.
And then they could go ahead and start work, and then we could ratify that like Tuesday.
But we're not gonna have an employee, because I don't.
No, the contract
It's gonna be a
is what I-
1099
Independent
contractor,
contract.
right? Yeah, I'm all for that.
1099, so I just want to write this down for any future extra help.
So, you ready for a motion?
I think so.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we authorize this work as a 1099 contractor, and you can go ahead and not to exceed $600.
Okay, we have a motion, all in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Okay,
Thank you. I appreciate the discussion, and
so
I'll work with
I'm not signing any, we're not signing any of these things.
Yeah.
Salary approval form and all that.
That's fine. I will work with Brian to get him set up.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Well, nobody's here from the assessors, but
Yeah.
they had disposed of 4 office tables, 3 chairs, electric staplers, shelving units, an old couch, desk organizers.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve disposing of all this excess property.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You got Shanda's number? These invoices, I don't know much about. And I saw her, she had them, so I just soon have some information on them.
So we're going to postpone that?
So we'll have Shanda come up. So we can go ahead and move forward with the proclamation for the village. You read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the proclamation for the village.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Can I see this?
Yeah. Hey, would you ask Shanda to come up here? We got this stuff on, huh? Shanda. Okay, there's this deal on Summit National Bank that I don't have a lot of information on. I knew she had the invoices on it, so. Yep, okay, thank you. All right, bye. Let's go ahead and go into executive session for a minute and we'll go over these things you want to talk about as our attorney.
Do you have the code thing?
So I go,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we enter into executive session under Idaho Code 74-2061F